obviously it's been a pretty sort of crazy couple of days. You've given yourself a chance though, and I suppose that's all you could have asked for after the weekend. How are you feeling ahead of the game?
Yeah, good. I think the team are good, in good spirits. I think I've said all season, I think we believe we can compete against anybody in the league. I think this game is against a team who finished 11 points in front of us, finished third in the league. Fantastic season that Luton have had. They've been growing their club for the last 3 or 4 years, and they've got an experienced group of players and very together. You can feel that, as I said to the last press conference about you feel their comradeship really, and I think we did amazing to come out on top in the first game. And I'm not anticipating too much different the second game. It's a tighter environment, of course. If anything, they might double down on what they do and how they play. We have to try and do the same, really, because we haven't, as I've said all season, we don't have plan B, really, on putting the quick guy up top and turning him round all the time and playing him behind him. It's we will play as we play, and we'll try and create opportunities. I think what gives us a lot of confidence is that we generally, it's been scored goals, a lot of goals this season without centre forwards, but and I think the team feel it's going to score, and if we can score, they've got to score 3 to get through. It's so yeah, we'll be going to try and win the football match and be positive and play our game and see how we get on.
You said there that you don't have plan B, but recent weeks you've had to have plan C, D, E, F. I mean, on Saturday there you had Lyndon Gooch playing as a right winger, playing as a left-sided centre half. I mean, you're down to the bare bones when it comes to defensively, but do you feel the players are almost like getting a kick out of that? Do you feel that the adversity is almost helping them, if you like?
I think adversity is a strong bonder of players, I think. Yeah, they all take it on board, they all listen. As I've said all season long, a lot of these players have got good, strong mindsets, growth mindsets, want to improve, want to get better. I've told you, Malcolm Allison once played me a whole season at left back, a 6'2" centre half playing at left back like a fish out of water, really. And yet, when I look through my career, it taught me so much about angles and distances, and there's always a positive to come out of the negative. I would suggest. And Lyndon Gooch playing left centre half in a back three it's a big call, but the lad, a bit like Luke O'Nien, they're desperate to please. I've told you the story of O'Nien. Says, get me up front, I'll get you 15 goals. He says to me, and I'm thinking it's the same with Gucci. He'll play anywhere really, and he's driven, he's motivated, he's committed, and so yeah, let's just keep rolling with it. And he did very well the other day.
I thought it was a real irony on Saturday, the fact you had all these attackers on the pitch, and it was your one recognised defender who got the winner.
Good. Listen, what do you say about Trey Hume? I remember Trey coming to see me the first month or so I was here and telling me, is he going to get a chance? And the team were functioning all right. He said he has to be patient, really, wait his opportunity. I can see he's a good player in training. I can see he can pass the ball. I can see he's mobile. I can see he's got a good spring. He's got lots of good attributes. And once he got his opportunity, he's never looked back. He's been an ever present just about in the team, and played in numerous positions, but another great lad really, and as I go along, whether I talk about O'Nien or Gooch or Trey Hume, there's lots and lots of these characters that you can depend on really, and whatever you ask them to do, they embrace it and give it their very best.
I know you said a moment ago that Luton have been working for a few years now to get themselves ready as a club for the Premier League. I know sort of the rhetoric this season has been that Sunderland maybe aren't ready, but being at that game on Saturday night, seeing the atmosphere in the stadium, walking again, it felt like a Premier League club, and it looked like a Premier League football team.
Right. Listen, what I do know, the club is a Premier League club in everything other than what you've been able to do on the pitch over the last since I don't know how many years since they came out of the Premier League, but you have to earn the right to get in the Premier League. You have to have a good enough football team to win games and get in the Premier League. But regarding the stadium, regarding the fan base, regarding the supporters, the noise, the enthusiasm, the atmosphere they can create. It's all Premier League all day long, and we collectively on the pitch have to try and give them that club back, really. But nobody's going to hand it to you. You have to earn it, and so that's why every week is really tough football match, and we've got to keep trying to grow and develop so that we get to a point. I talked this year, I didn't feel promotion was the objective this year. It was really to sustain ourselves in this division and make sure we weren't looking over our shoulder, then to have some transfer windows and bring in the quality of player that will make everybody think, oh, they should be getting promotion with that team. Let's see if we can keep recruiting well, and if tomorrow doesn't go our way, doesn't go well, the message will be that we're in the right direction, we're on the right road, we're going in the right direction. Let's keep trying to strengthen, try and bring quality players into the system, and so we get to a point somewhere where the fan base aren't happy with, oh, it was a good season, we played some nice football. They want to get promoted, and they look at the squad and they look at the teams around us and they think this team should be getting promoted. That's where you'd like to, as a coach, it's all right having a team like where we're like, not the underdogs, but the team that nobody expected. It's all right sometimes to be the team that everybody expects, because you've got the best players, you get paid the most money, you've got the biggest crowds, you've got the best stadium. You should be getting promoted, and that's somewhere down the line. This is where we need to be. It's and that's all right, and that's a pressure on a head coach, of course, or a manager, because their expectation is if you fail, you don't get up, probably your job's under threat. But you would always like to be the guy with the expectation rather than the guy who has to try and punch above his weight to get something achieved.
So somewhere, I don't know if you've asked this already, but I saw somewhere the last couple of days someone labelling this game as Beauty against the Beast.
Oh, wasn't me. I didn't say that. Listen, I'm very respectful of Luton. Listen, having played against them for the last 4 or 5 years with Blackburn, you can see their growth really. Very early on when they got promoted, I think we played them at one of the first games of the season. You expect to beat them. You expect the team coming out of League One. You expect to be able to beat them. You've been in the division a couple of years, and you've started to grow your club and got good players. As I said to you before, I remember speaking to Paul Hart and Mickey Harford, who said that they would like the model that we were doing, really trying to grow the club out of League One into a team that expects to get promoted. And and I think they're at that point now. The playoffs last year, playoffs this year, unbeaten in 15 games or whatever it was for them, 14 games. It's they look strong and athletic and confident to me. They've got a way of playing that they all understand. They're all athletic. They get the ball in your box. They flood the box full of players. They can all run back and do their jobs. And it's a tough football match for us. That's why we have to be really take care of the ball and play in the right spaces on the pitch.
Just last one from me. You seem to be, and you have been, keeping a lid on things. You say you don't get too high, you don't get too low. What are the players like in there?
Really good.
Not how close they are.
Yeah, really good. I think as I've been trying to say, the core of them, whilst they're still pretty young footballers, even the experienced players, I don't know how old Luke's 27, 28, Gucci's 25, 26, I don't know how old they are, 27, but they're the senior players really, and it's an interesting concoction really, because we've got a few of the foreign lads thrown into that mix as well, the French speaking lads, and it's a huge credit to them that they've kept the group really tight, their togetherness really tight, and they fight so hard for each other. And because it is, it's easy to throw the tag on it and say, oh, it's a young group, they're all really close mates. It's that's why I like the Gucci's of this world, because they're the gel really, the expectation, the lads who've been through some tough times here. I think Gucci was here on the back-to-back relegation, do you know what I mean? He's felt a dressing room that doesn't work or hasn't clicked, and he's a driving force, along with Danny Bath, Corey Evans, these players that are injured unfortunately at the moment, but they're still in that dressing room and they can still make sure that it stays tight and they all work hard together, and the things that are acceptable and not acceptable within the group.
Are they in the dressing room before the game?
Yeah, I think them lads are coming with us on this trip as well, the injured players.
Tony, injury situation, Pritchard, Roberts, how are they, and might you have anyone else available even for the bench?
Pritchard and Roberts are touch and go, I would suggest. They might both make it. They both might not make it. One might make it. I sit here today not really knowing. One of them trained today, one of them didn't. Let's see if there's a reaction. The other one's saying, another 24 hours I should be better. Let's wait and see how we are tomorrow. At least he trained today, which is good. Discussed with him maybe on the bench. A 6'3" kid who can run all day up and down, and whether we get him on the pitch if they're chasing a goal and we putting it in our box, it'd be good to have somebody over the height of 6 foot in there to try and edit out. So we're not too far away from what we were the other day, but it's good to have Elise back training, obviously Huggins back training, and we'll see what team we put out after we've had some chats with them tomorrow.
Have you ever come across, either as a player or a manager, a kind of situation where there was such a difference physically between one team and the other?
I don't know. I think I grew up. I say grew up. I was a man watching the great. Spanish football would be on the telly in 2010, 11, 12. We're all watching these Iniesta and Busquets and Xavi, all Messi popping it around, sticking it around. And I'm not trying to compare us at all. I'm just trying to say there was a team with a lot of very small players in their setup. Okay, they had Gerard Piqué at the back, but you have to keep the ball. You have to keep it on the grass. You have to keep it moving. You have to play to your strengths, really, rather than get sucked into a game that doesn't suit you. And the difficulty of this match, of course, is the intensity, the importance, the urgency of it. And so there's a danger that you get sucked into a fight where you're probably getting outpunched. So we have to stay calm. We have to try and play our game. We have to try and play in the spaces. We have to try and move the ball. And as I said, we take some confidence that we generally score a goal or two in football matches, and we're hoping we can go to Luton and score, which will put some extra pressure on them.
I suppose just last one from me. The team keeps getting asked questions. They keep coming up with answers. Can they do it again?
We believe we can, but we also know how tough this fixture is. We've obviously been there this season. It's a tight ground, it's a tight dressing room, it's a tight tunnel. I don't know the dimensions of the pitch, but it feels a tighter pitch than the Stadium of Light. So it's a totally different challenge for us, but one that we should look forward to and go with some confidence and enjoy the challenge of trying to play against a team that's a very athletic, very physical, and if they get their game plan right, they could give us lots of problems, of course, but we have to concentrate on what we do well and see if we can give them problems.
Tony, you've mentioned before in previous press conferences that you like to stay reserved and not let the emotions get to you too much, but you're 90 minutes from Wembley. Given all the injuries and issues you've had this season, you must be starting to feel a little bit of pride.
Until you achieve in football, it's all just a journey, really. I think if we don't get the result we want tomorrow night, the journey finishes this season. Everybody's focus will be on recruitment. How's the team going to look? The loan players will disappear. What are we going to do? What does next season look like? Is it a greater expectation? Because as I keep saying, we're going to try and grow the club, and so who comes in who can do what Diallo's done for us? Just as I walked in, I see Ross Stewart walking up and down that hill there. He's hopefully going to be ready not too long into pre-season. So just to put a team on the pitch that we feel is really competitive and have some players who can make the difference in football matches, really, like Ahmed's done, like we've got Patrick and like we've got Jack. We've got Alec Pritchard. So them sort of players can make a difference in football games as long as you've got the structure behind them, the intensity, the hard work, the focus, and at this moment, let's wait and see. It's all what ifs, I think, at the moment. We know how tough in 90 minutes we've got to face on in that arena that they've done amazingly well this year, Luton, and I'm sure they will fancy their chances. We have to go there, and at times our players with that ability to eliminate players have to do just that, and they have to get us into goal scoring areas, and we can hopefully put the ball in their net, and it makes the job much more difficult for them.
How have you instilled that belief that when this team goes behind, as we saw against Watford and as we saw against Sunderland Saturday, that they can come back and turn things on in your favour?
I think that's the fans, I would suggest. The support's been amazing. That sticks with the team right to the death. Patrick's goal against Watford late on, the stadium to me looked still pretty full, and everybody was still with the team, and I think football's an emotional game, and I think the emotion coming from the stands is what helps drive the team. It's going to be a different scenario tomorrow night. We won't have anywhere near as many fans as we might want in their stadium. It's quite a tight stadium, but the players will still find the energy and the drive and the desire to, and hopefully the bravery to play the way we want to play, and try and get the result that everybody in this part of the world wants.
Cheers, guys.